Good evening, everyone. We're here to discuss some things which have been happening on Xbox. So sit back and enjoy as we go through this all here. Hello.
Hello.
I'm not muted, so I'll let you guys go up the top there, and I'll just go down the bottom, so you're all in charge and stuff. So Xbox. It's been a wee while. So
A few weeks.
Yeah,
at least.
There's been so much going on with us.
Oh, there has.
But we're going to come into all that, and we have got so much to actually do. So first of all, we'll have to just introduce everybody and see what everybody has been playing in the good old Xbox land. Maker, what have you been playing? And I see you've got something interesting in the background there.
Yeah, Chris Tales. I'm super excited for it. But what I've been playing actually is I played a little bit of Sea of Thieves, and I played Battlefront 2. One of my friends who really loves Call of Duty was like, he really likes Star Wars, and he found out that Game Pass had Battlefront 2. And so we've just been playing that for like the past week, just consistently. He loves it. So that's it for me.
I was eating crisp.
sounds tasty.
Yes, that's why
I was gonna talk and fill it, but then I thought it was funnier not to fill.
People say you're not a troll now. Come on.
No, I'm just horrible. Sorry, Duncan.
Yes, what I'm eating is the good old potato cheese and onion potato crisps or potato chips for people in the States, which are absolutely lovely. So, Andy, what about yourself?
Well, I'm hungry now because they're probably the best crisps in the UK. We only just recently got them over in England in the last few years. I've seen them popping up in Tesco's and places like that. So anyway, what have I been playing? Bit of Dirt 5, a bit of Grid, which is a little interesting. But I tried. I've got it on Stadia and on Xbox, and both of the multiplayer lobbies are more or less dead. There was no one in them. I don't know if I was playing at the wrong time of day or what, but anyway. And I only found out yesterday that Sims 4 is in the cloud. So I've been playing all day yesterday, and a bit of today as well, which is great. It runs really well.
Yeah, well, what I'm going to do here is we're going to have a wee look at the Game Pass list because it keeps on changing and evolving. What have I been playing? During the week, we had a cloudy get-together on xCloud just for us to play behind the scenes. We had an interesting time in that. We were playing some Forza Motorsport, and I was the best driver, and it was on record that I was the best, and Sammy and Barry were miles behind me. And
wow.
Yes,
I did hear the argument yesterday about Hamilton and Max Verstappen.
Yeah,
that was interesting.
Yes, but I don't want to go down that road again because that got very heated. Actually, I was surprised.
Well, it wasn't too bad. Go back and watch it, guys, because it's a good show. But I happen to think Hamilton did really nothing wrong.
I'm more of I can see why it was given just because of the way the rule changes have happened and what has happened over the last couple of weeks. I think it was a bit. All I'm going to say is there's going to be an incident in the coming weeks or months ahead. Maybe, hopefully, nowhere near as bad as what happened, but there's going to be an incident where Max is going to do something naughty in Hamilton, and I hope the same gets done.
That's it. That's where it gets tricky. Is if it was the other way around, would we have seen a penalty for Max?
Yeah, and the people who are defending Max are saying it was all Hamilton's funds would be defending Max because it's all sport. It's all sport.
I don't even know what he did wrong.
Yeah, but we'll get off that. So, Forza Motorsport. Here's the interesting thing: when we were playing that, we were all playing it through the cloud, which was absolutely class. We were living up to our name, our new name, Cloudy.games. We plug. Do you like that we plug? We'll do more of that later. And some of the tracks played absolutely magnificently. You wouldn't think you were in the cloud. They were playing absolutely amazing. But some of the other tracks, there was a hell of a lot of pixelization, and we were all experiencing it on the same tracks. Some of the tracks had the big do the squares, you could see where the and things like that on the same track, but other tracks were just, it was just really, really weird why it was happening. It wasn't a per game basis, it was actually a per track basis. What else?
Newer tracks or anything like that? More detailed or anything?
They were more of like an actual racetrack, though. Like I think it was it's one of the ones in Florida, Daytona. I think it was Daytona, right. Or the what's the other one in or Indy, or it was either Indy 500 track or Daytona. It was one of them too, and it was just like there was like fencing around it. It just made everything all pixelated. But again, it was really strange. What else? Obviously, I've been playing some Sea of Thieves now and again. We are going to be getting our series back up and running, and Kelly is taking the complete and utter lead in that. And she will be kicking us into shape to make sure it gets done, because that is her thing, and we definitely want that. We definitely want that to go. Hi, Jules as well. So yeah, we've got lots, and I've been playing lots and lots and lots. And Kelly's going to love this. I've been playing some more Slay the Spire. I got Ben into it, and that got me into it again, and I need to get that away, because that is just going to be completely and utterly a time sink for me, because you can just lose so much time, because it is such a great game.
That's why I'm worried about Sims 4.
Well, yeah, what we'll do here, we'll bring this up first here, because you actually got me looking at this here when you were saying how many EA games are on xCloud. So we'll kick that off here. Or should we kick off with the news or go into the games? I say...
Up to you.
The game. Boom. Oh, that's the wrong one. We need to take that one down. I clicked on the wrong one.
I was about to say.
Yes. Well, hopefully this one's right. Will this one be right? Yes, this one's right. There's no thing along the top now. So we'll do the new games coming, then we'll go into the full game. That's because some of the new games are going on to Game Pass already there. So basically, welcome to the new home of Cloudy with a Chance of Games. It is now Cloudy.games, and it has had a brand new website designed by someone who wants to remain nameless.
I don't want to get insulted.
So, by someone who will remain nameless. We'll just keep it like that. We'll just keep it like that.
I don't mind. I helped a little.
Yeah, helped a lot. And basically, we've got a new website here. Here you go. You can check it out here. We have got it all divided into all the different sections. So if you just want Stadia, GFN, xCloud, or data, you can just click into it. We are currently trying to get more things pulled across because of the issues we've had. But there we go. We have got more games coming, and it is absolutely great to see here. So here's the thing. We have got 2 games coming to Game Pass today. The Battlefield 5 and Chris Tales. We're also getting another 8 games on top of that, including Crimson Skies, Blinks, flip's sake, Adam the Crops or something.
Yeah, I think
Raji.
It's Atomic Crops.
Yeah, Raji. That stopped the Ascent. I forget that one. I had to write that out a couple of times. This one here, and Ono or something along them lines, all going to cloud.
No.
Yeah, I see. This is why you're here to correct me. Everybody just likes coming on here to correct me with my bad speaking and such like. Before I get
I won't say anything.
You won't say anything.
Nope.
With that, I'm going to point out 2 titles which I think are interesting: is Crimson Skies and Blinks, because they're original Xbox games. I think that is worth pointing it out. So there seems to be a big, massive push to get some of these older games, and this is part of the 20th anniversary of Xbox. Is there any games which have been interested in you there, Maker, out from the list here?
From the list, oh man, there's actually a lot in this one that I'm super excited for. For me, Chris Tales, I'm excited for, turn-based RPG with some time elements. Really cool. I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. Another one that I was somewhat interested in last year, but I didn't pick it up, which was Raji, which I believe is based on like Indian culture. It looked really cool. I think it's made by an Indian development team as well. I want to play. Now that it's coming to Game Pass, I'm going to play it for sure. Last Stop was another one that I'm super interested in, which is right below that, which I believe that one's going to be a day and date release as well. And then last but not least, The Ascent. I'm super excited for The Ascent, because top-down kind of looter shooter, Diablo-esque meets guns. Yeah.
Yes. I've got this. I've got the sound running in my head here, so it's a bit hard. You're absolutely right to bring this up about the day and date releases. That is quite a number of day and date releases, and there's a number of these indie titles as well. Because we've got this, we've got Chris Tales, we have also got, what was the
Last Stop and Omno are also both day and date releases. So there's like 4 total day and date releases in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, which is absolutely mad. That's just going to cloud. Then you've got obviously Flight Sim as well, which is a day and date release because all the Microsoft first-party games are going in. I'm somewhat surprised that it hasn't went to cloud since they've got the Series X blades installed. Are you, Maker?
I think there might be some hang up with it. Maybe they want to get it to the point where they can actually pull the live weather and stuff like that and get that running, just to kind of make it a better experience through the cloud. But I honestly, I don't know. Maybe as you were saying earlier, like some of these games you'll have like little hiccups in them with looks like the bit rate or the network kind of dips in certain parts. And I'm wondering if it's trying to process a lot of stuff through the network, and then and maybe it might be like a network software issue. So I'm hoping that they can get this all fixed out, because I do see that sometimes in certain games, usually more higher fidelity games, less so on the indie titles.
Yeah.
Andy, what games stood out for you there?
Well, I hadn't even seen The Ascent until I've just been watching it now. It looks awesome.
Yeah,
I can't wait for it. Is it when are we? When is it?
29th?
Yeah, 29th. Next week. So basically all these games are coming within between now and next Friday.
Wow.
Yep. It's super impressive.
Yeah. The takeaway ones obviously we knew about really were Flight Sim and Chris Tales. I don't know how we're saying it. Chris Tales, I'll go with.
Go Chris Tales.
Yeah. Or DuckTales. No, it's a different game. That looks good. I haven't had a chance to play it yet. I've been a little bit busy in the last few weeks doing slave work for someone. And yeah, Battlefield 5, obviously. I think it's to just be the fact that it's in the cloud, it'll be easy to access. I think I can understand why Flight Sim hasn't launched on the cloud yet, because I think it'll be about 3 months' time when they've got it fully made sure it's perfect on the Series X first, and then I think we'll see it introduced. I've noticed every time I go in that game, there's an update every time. Like, more or less, like, I mean, you could leave it 2 or 3 days and there'll already be an update for you to have to do. So,
To be fair,
having it
that's
in
how
the
they make their
cloud-
money.
yeah, having it in the cloud, I think, could be that could be the problem with the updating of it. They'd have to keep it exactly the same updates, so that I think that would take a lot to do. But I reckon in about 3 months' time we might see it. Maybe 3 to 6 months.
I do recommend those who do have a Series S or X to download and play that game at least once.
100%. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I'm no good at it. I crash the thing all the time. It's very. I mean, even in the training, the tutorials that they have, like, one little arrow press right more than what you should do, and you're in a cliff.
I recommend just turning down the controls just like easy. That's what I did, to the point where you just could use a controller to fly.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I was Googling at flight sim controller things, the joystick things, to try and see if I could find one, but they're either sold out or they're on eBay for 4 times as much as what you should be paying for them. So I just I didn't even think about changing the controls. That's kind of anyway.
I wasn't gonna fiddle with it. I'm not big on sim games, and so it didn't really matter too much to me.
Yeah, it looks amazing, and it's really good in VR as well. On the Quest, Duncan.
Thank you, Andy, for buying me a new 30 series and 30 series. I would like to thank you for that.
Yeah, it's all right. You run on a Mac, don't you? Yeah, it's all right.
I've also got a PC up the stairs as well. Which take the new graphics card very handily if you're so willing to send it over there. And congrats,
I can't
Maker.
get hold of one myself, but obviously Maker can get hold of a few. So I think we're just waiting for the delivery now.
Yeah. I got lucky. My Best Buy near me had them, and this morning I got there a couple hours early and snagged me one of the ones that I wanted. I was hoping for a regular 3080, but because it's like $500 cheaper, but I snagged a 3080 Ti, which is nice.
Ti, though, you might as well go the extra step on you.
Yeah,
I guess.
I will go for me here. Obviously, for me, the big one here is Battlefield 5. I don't think anybody was expecting that. We knew about Chris Tales coming, so that was in the sort of wheelhouse. We know the Ascent was coming. For me, Battlefield 5 absolutely. Going, where did that come from? Because we do know EA have been putting some games onto the cloud, but it's been very, very sporadic. But they've dropped Battlefield 5, and I think we all know why that is, with the build up to the next Battlefield coming out. So I'm just curious to why. I'm curious if we're going to get more EA games coming, because obviously we want FIFA in the cloud, we want the next Madden, we want NHL, we want basically all their sports franchises.
I kind of wonder that too. I think they're sporadic because they're testing the waters, and they're very iffy on stuff that they want to do. If they go into something, they want to make money off of it. It seems like. And I think that's why you see them super hesitant. They're hesitant to join top onto the Switch. They're hesitant to jump into cloud. And I think you're starting to see more EA titles hop on Game Pass because there's that large audience that, maybe people play it through the cloud and get excited for the new Battlefield.
Yeah.
Do we think that the reason they're putting Battlefield 5 on to see how well it performs and then launch 6 in the cloud?
What I'm wondering is, since EA Play is effectively, it's effectively tied to Game Pass. I'm wondering if they're doing this so that eventually they do what let's say with what they did with the UFC game, where you had the old ones leave and the new ones came in, and
Yes.
Something down the line, something similar will happen effectively with Battlefield. 5 will roll out and the new Battlefield will drop at a certain point. The question is whether or not we're going to get it as like a Game Pass game or not.
I have a feeling that the next Battlefield is going to go very early to Game Pass or EA Play, whatever way you want to word it, with it being multiplayer only. I think they want to get people in there as quick as possible to start spending some money.
Battlefield 5 wasn't received very well, was it? When it first came out, if I remember rightly, there was a lot of people who complained about it. If I remember rightly.
I personally, I think it'd be super smart to drop Battlefield on Game Pass, because you'll see a lot more people drop money for Game Pass over paying the full $70, let's say, for it on launch. And and if you want to keep that player base, just look at all the main shooters out now. A lot of them are free to play because you're going to have a higher player base. And a higher player base means more people probably spending money on your game, and so I think it's going to come to Game Pass at some point. It's at what point is the question. I don't know if it's going to be earlier or later. I hope it's earlier, but I don't know with EA. They're so sporadic.
Where was I going to go here? I was going to go down a rabbit hole. I know I was. I had it all worked out in my head. I know what the rabbit hole was. Just in the Battlefield thing, I just feel that there is the new Battlefield going into Game Pass. Rumors were going on for months upon months upon months. Then they completely died away again. I think there must have been something somewhat in them rumors there. So
I think. I'm thinking EA saw the hype that was drumming up and wanted a piece of that pie. They would rather get some of that money on launch and then maybe drop it on Game Pass, because they did see how many the attraction that it did get in like the Twitter space and social media.
Yeah, I know where I was going to go with this now. I've got it worked out in my head now. It was related to this. Here we go. I'm going down a rabbit hole here. As we're talked about with all these games coming to Game Pass and going on, that's another one I want to touch on as well, with most of them going to the cloud as well. Are we seeing interesting moves, and it gets people thinking? With today's case, with Chris Tales, it is available on basically all the other cloud platforms bar Luna, but it is on Game Pass day one. It's just proving the strength of Game Pass and why you should subscribe to it. I will put this out here you could buy Chris Tales for GFN or Stadia, or you can get 3 months of Game Pass for that, for the same amount of money. I know everybody's cloud service varies from everybody's. Trying to put this nicely. Everybody has a different experience with every single cloud platform out there. Some people have a better performance with Stadia, other people have it with GFN, and other people have it with xCloud. If all things being equal, does this really shake things up in the cloud space somewhat? Do you know I think you know where I'm going with the point.
I think I get I don't know. Yeah, well, it does, doesn't it? Because if you've already got a Game Pass, you've got access to the masses of games that you already have. But it also, if you're not on Game Pass and you're looking at that game and thinking, it's £30, would I be better off signing up to Game Pass? And you can get it. Is it still on the deal for £1 or the $2 or whatever it was that it was on for? There's a deal, isn't there?
It's $1 for the first month when you first sign up.
So would you I mean, I don't know how long the game is. I'm assuming it's not going to be a massively long game.
It's 20
some of them
hours.
are. Yeah.
20
Right,
hours.
okay.
They've actually put it out there on their Steam page saying it's 20 hours length.
So you could probably complete it in the month.
Yeah.
And then you forget that you've signed up, and you or you experience that you see that there's a massive more selection of games out there. And yeah, I don't. It's only a good thing for Game Pass, but I don't know if it's a good thing for the rest of the cloud services.
Yeah. Maker, what about yourself?
What do I take on the whole Game Pass scenario with?
It's basically the renting or not renting. I hate saying renting because you're not really renting. It's subscribing to Game Pass, the subscription model versus the buying model, because
personally, I think the barrier to entry is dropped because automatically the price to open up these games and play them is it's a lot easier to get into than bite the bullet and spend $40. If I see that I can sign up for $10 or $15 rather than spend the $40 for a single game, I think the price point's there. Case in point, when I was sitting in line to get my graphics card, there was a person behind me who was building their first PC, and this is why they were in line, was so they could get a graphics card. And he's like, man, I want some good games to really like utilize this 3070 that he was getting. And I just said to him, I was like, Flight Sim's a really good one, and that's on Game Pass. Have you signed up for that? And he's like, no, what games do they have? And I literally just pulled up my Game Pass app up, and I was like, for PC, this is what they have. And he's like, oh, they got Doom Eternal? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, I've been wanting to play that. And I was like, yeah, it's like, sign up. He was like, I think I signed up for a month already, but I canceled. And I was like, well, it's $10 a month if you just want PC. And he's like, I might have to do that. And I was like, I recommended first Cyberpunk and Control because that would show off the ray tracing.
Yeah.
But which Control is on Game Pass, by the way.
Yeah.
As well.
Okay, I will go for me here. There is always going to be room for buying games. I think that is clear to say, and we do know that xCloud will be allowing you to buy games down the line. They've already indicated that. I just think this is the interesting market we're living in now, and it is. I think we're going to see this continue down the line with the moves being made out there with all the big publishers. It's just absolutely scary the amount of games which are going to be locked behind a couple of these big gaming companies. For people who don't know, yesterday, Tencent, everybody's favorite Chinese company in the gaming space, bought up Sumo Digital, and they also bought another company up today as well. So they are going to be making waves at some stage. And for people who don't know, they have also got a cloud gaming interest as well. Subscriptions are going to be here, and this is why all these companies are buying. People, these game companies are wanting the monthly revenues, and so this is why it's going to continue. So I think it's going to be watch this space, but I think it's increasingly interesting that xCloud are getting all these games day and date, or they may be only indie titles. Only indie titles. I'm just putting that in quotations.
I would say a lot of them are indie titles, as you said, that you're getting day and date. But there are some big games like Outriders was day and date on Game Pass. A lot of first party is instantly on Game Pass as well. So I don't think it's just indies, but I would say that I think Game Pass benefits these indies a whole lot because one, you're entering in a contract with Xbox, which I'm sure they're getting paid a decent amount of money to put their games onto Game Pass. So one, it funds their game to do that. And number two, it gets your game out to a larger population. There's over 20 million Game Pass subscribers, and having your game instantly available to these 20 million people to play and try means that the next time you make a game, there will be a lot more people who know about your game than previously would have. So, or if it leaves the sale and someone talks to someone, says, hey, this was a good game, that could easily be a sale for them.
So also a lot of attention brought to that game. I mean, there's 12 games there that, say 7 or 8 of them you might not necessarily have even just not scrolled past. Whereas, if you're paying attention to any of their blog posts or their any of their marketing, they do this, coming soon, we've got these games, and it brings a lot more attention to those games. And I do think you end up, when they leave Game Pass after they've already made money from Xbox adding it to Game Pass, that you end up buying it anyway. A lot of the games that have left Game Pass, I have then gone on and bought, which...
There's a few titles I've purchased, like Pathway on Xbox. I enjoyed it to the point where I dropped $10 to purchase it. And or the Ori series is another one that comes to mind. I purchased as well, but both games collector's editions, just because I loved the games, and I said I want to support these developers even more than I already am. So
I've heard of people buying them like while it's still on Game Pass.
Yeah. Both those games are still on Game Pass, and I still paid for them.
Yeah.
They are Pathway I know is third party, so I wanted to make sure I had that game later down the line and say, if I want to play it again, I can load it up and play it on a harder difficulty.
Yeah.
Okay, and what I'm going to actually also touch on, this is something which is becoming more and more common, is if you look at this game list here, out from the total of 12 games, 10 of them are on xCloud. There are the two notable exceptions are Flight Sim, which we've already sort of briefly touched, but I think that's coming. We do know it is coming at some stage to xCloud. It's just a matter of when. And the second game is Wingman, which is a PC-only game as far as I am aware. Do we think this is going to be an ongoing theme going forward, that basically if a game goes to Game Pass now, it is going to be on the cloud if it's a console-based game? Andy?
Yeah, well, you can see there, can't you? 10 out of the 12 are in the cloud. I can only imagine Wingman is heavily keyboard and mouse, which would suggest why it's not coming to cloud. I suppose you could say the same about Flight Sim, but then, now it's coming to Series X. It's not. That was a stupid comment. But I can imagine Wingman will be heavily keyboard and mouse, which you can't. Can you play that on? Can you use your keyboard and mouse in the browser-based version of xCloud?
No, it's only controller at the moment. I really hope that they add mouse and keyboard support though.
Okay, for me, I think this is going to be an ongoing thing. I think the vast majority of titles going forward now, unless it is a major publisher and they're playing in and out like sort of EA, I think any games which go to console Game Pass will end up in the cloud going forward. I think the only ones which are going to maybe miss out are the likes of the EA with the EA Play sort of titles. I'm expecting basically most, if I'm thinking about 95%, if not higher, of games going to Game Pass now are just going to be going into cloud, and it's going to be just interchangeable now. When you say Game Pass, you know it means cloud as well, unless it's a PC only game or not. And hopefully the PC only will change. Sorry, Maker.
I just wanted to say that I like the progress that they've made to getting parity between the three platforms. Like if you look at this list, there's a total of 7 of these games that are coming to cloud, console, and PC, which is a significant amount to all 3 platforms.
It's definitely increased in the last few months, hasn't it? We've seen a lot more in the last few months where you think, whoa, like you barely saw 1 or 2 where it listed cloud. But now they seem to, every single, 10 out of the 12. It's insane.
And just to make sure this is clear, Cloudbuster, we talked about that there. Yes, you can load up Battlefield 5 now on xCloud. The early indications, which I'm seeing from a couple of different people, it is running pretty well in the cloud. Also, which is another piece of news in this blog post by Microsoft today, is something what they do. They add like native controls to xCloud games, and the latest batch of games getting these are City Skylines. That was one I was not going to do. Think about Darkest Dungeon, Fable Anniversary, Fable 2, Fable 3, Fusion Frenzy, Gunner 2, Joyride Turbo, Outlast Deep, The Bard's Tale, The Bard's Tale 4, The Bard's Tale Trilogy, and The Wild at Heart. I think that Steep, yep.
Oh. Okay, sorry.
I think the Darkest Dungeon is a fantastic fit for touch controls. It's one of those, roguelite kind of turn-based combat. So I think that is, like, to me, an ideal game to play in the cloud.
And it is indeed. It is turn-based and being stupid here. I've played it a fair bit. I'm not very good at it. I admit it when I'm not good at games. I'm not too good. The game is difficult, if I remember right.
Very. I remember dying a lot in that game, so it takes time.
But I think you do learn the things, but it has a bit of a steep learning curve here. But it is a good game there. Again, for me, the one that took my eye was City Skylines. I want to see what they're doing. I wonder if you'll be able to draw the roads with your finger on the touch controls and things like that. That would be absolutely mad. City Skylines, it's the sort of name indicates, it's a city builder. Think if you're old like me, like SimCity and things like that, but completely updated. And what it's good to see as well, they're going back to the older sort of games are like Fusion Frenzy, which is an original Xbox game, if my memory serves me right.
Oh yeah, it's along the veins of kind of like a Mario Party, but it was an Xbox exclusive game way back when. It was a lot of fun.
Here's a question. I wonder if that's going to be on it with the upscaling they do on xCloud, because that was one of the games which got the res boost and things like that. That's going to be a good one to test, actually.
Yeah, I know it has auto HDR. I don't know about any features for it.
It got if you had an Xbox One X, it did the 4K sort of thing onto it, which was pretty mad. Because I think a lot of the stuff they've been working on in the behind, we've talked about before, is just preparing things for the cloud. So Andy is looking intrigued there.
I'm just launching up Cities Skyline now to see what,
but,
just to see what the touch controls are like.
The Bard's Tale was who made that? Doesn't Xbox own that studio now? I'm pretty sure that they do. I think that is. It's the people who made Wasteland.
Is it in Exile?
In Exile, yep. So Microsoft own them, so I'm not too surprised there that they have got them.
Yeah.
I think it's just really exciting that these native touch controls are being added, because as I'm the old fogey here, but people are growing up without actually picking up one of these in their lives, or what they are doing is just playing by mobile phones and things like that, and it's a real great thing for them to actually do that. And by adding these individual ones per game is a masterstroke, because we have seen how good it's implemented in games like Gears 5 when you go over the snow boarding. I'm going to just call it snowboarding, where the controls change to where you are in the game and things like that. I think it's just brilliant.
Yeah, I'm rubbish when it comes to touch controls. I'm awful. I've tried so many games. If it's a slow-paced game, I'm okay with it. But the kids, like when I watch my kids play on touch controls, it's just like insane. They can. It's like watching them hack the Matrix. It is. They're unbelievable on it. So, but the advantage with the touch controls that the Xbox are putting out, we've said it loads of times on this show before, haven't we? How good the styling of them are per game.
I like that they actually make it custom, so it's not like the typical. Well, you can decide to choose the basic Xbox controller layout, or you can use the custom. Custom will usually have like specific buttons, like it'll have like a gun-looking button to shoot, and stuff like that. And I like that because if you played any of the other kind of mobile games like Call of Duty Mobile, they don't have like press A, B. It's this is the shoot button, and yeah, and there's just such a large audience in mobile gaming that it just makes sense to try and make these native touch controls so that they can easily jump in from like one game to the next and it feel kind of natural.
Yeah, it's what I'm wondering, maybe a bit further down the line, are we going to be seeing games which are going to be catering to this new audience, and just from going from a Dark Souls sort of level where it's all intense and all this on your mobile phone to something where or a lot more gentler to get everybody on board? Though, as you said, I'm not saying dumbed down is probably the wrong word, but I think that's the easiest way to explain the dumbed down controls onto games. I wonder if we're going to see that go on to big mainstream games as well down the line, and see games built from that direction first.
I definitely think that, I don't know about it first, I feel like that's going to take a while before we see anything of that nature, though. I don't know, because Xbox did enter into a partnership with Timmy Studios, the studio that made Call of Duty Mobile. So I think we're going to start to see some Xbox first-party mobile games. What that entails, I'm not sure. Maybe they're going to make Halo Infinite mobile or something. But it's an interesting take, and it definitely looks like Xbox is exploring those routes to try and reach an audience that doesn't normally play Xbox, which is those on tablets and phones.
Yeah. Andy, have you anything to add there before we move on? It's just...
No, I think we've covered it really, haven't we? It's the effort they've put in, I think, will pay off eventually.
I think this is really good news. I knew we were going to have some good news. I'm excited for a lot of the titles that they announced today, and look forward to playing them.
Yeah, just ending on this before we move on to some other sort of news. We've got 3 games which are leaving on the July 31st or 31st July, depending what part of the world you're from. Where you put your, I'm just in my wind-up mode here. What is leaving is Lurks Below, The Tourist, and Undermine. I have played a bit of The Tourist. It's not a bad wee game. It's actually a bit of fun, and you should be able to complete that if you start it now by the time it leaves. Andy, have you played any of these 3 games? Or
no, I was really tempted by The Tourist. So it's like, bit gutting that it's on, but I might have to give it a go before it goes off, and then I'll probably end up buying it.
Yeah, I've to me, I didn't have any draw to really play any of these games that are leaving. I had heard that The Tourist was pretty good, but I just feel like I've been so busy with so many more games lately.
Okay. For me, the pick there is The Tourist, so you can just jump in and do it now. You can jump in through the Clyde and give it a blast for 2 minutes, and that is the beauty of the Clyde. And you can just jump in, and away you go. Okay. Moving on. Let's see. We'll remove that and stop. We will move on to the next thing here. Actually, I don't actually have something for this at this moment in time, but we do know that the Xbox was the highest selling hardware platform in dollar sales for the first for June. That's outselling both the Switch and the PlayStation 5. And if my memory serves me right, it was Xbox, Switch, then PlayStation.
Yep.
And which is interesting. I think this is the momentum getting built out from E3, because I think Xbox, we can debate the conference. I think it was a great conference. I gave my reasons why I slightly lowered it, but overall, I thought it was a really, really enjoyable E3 conference, and it actually got you excited for being a gamer. Do you think that was the reason why Xbox has just started to push ahead in the sales maker?
Oh, definitely. I also did want to mention that along that lines, that the June dollar sales of Xbox consoles actually set a new record for the Xbox platform, and it best the previously high set of monthly earnings from June 2011 for hardware sales. So I thought that was good.
Is that just the Series X then, or is that including the S as well?
It's including both.
Right,
so just
okay.
Series S and X. But I definitely think that the E3 conference was really well done. I think they showed a wide variety of games that appealed to a lot of players, and I think it showed. Like I think when we look at the there's like a report of the highest watched stuff, and a lot of those highest watched trailers were in the Xbox conference. Like the Battlefield trailer was really high. The Among Us trailer for the 15-player lobbies was pretty high, and stuff of that nature. So
yeah, I agree. I think it probably is, and then you look further into it and you realize that what Game Pass offers, and you think, well, it makes sense to go and buy one, because you get, you're probably still getting the best experience
and
locally.
I also wanted to mention it's also a lot easier for people to jump into the Xbox ecosystem, even if they weren't in an Xbox player, because you can just get Game Pass and just automatically have that library of games to play.
Yeah, exactly. That is where I was going to bring us to next. Just because we've been away for a bit, I think it's good to actually go and actually have a look at the actual what is in the library, because it does change. So here we go. This is let's make this slightly bigger here. As you can see, Battlefield 5 is there ready to go, which is great to see. So here is the games in Game Pass. There is just under 200, if I'm right here.
Well, I think there's over 200.
Maybe 200 now. So there is a couple of new ones here. Actually, it'd be easier going just under the new ones, since we haven't been here for a while. Here are the new games. Here we've got Chris Tales, Bloodroots, Farming Simulator 19, which Andy is going to play in a farmer's outfit. Tropicano, I call Tropicano 6, Gang Beasts, Bug Tales, Immortal Realms, Vampire Wars, Limbo, Going Under, Worms Rumble, and Dark Alliance. So I know you have been playing some of these, Maker. Which one do you recommend here?
I recommend Limbo. I really loved Limbo when I played it, but I've also played Going Under. Going Under is kind of like a dungeon crawler where you progress. It's kind of roguelite as well, where you progress as far as you can, unlock some upgrades and stuff of that nature, and then start over from scratch when you die. And your goal is to get to the end of the dungeon and defeat the boss and clear that level.
Cool. Andy, what about yourself?
Apart from Farming Simulator 19, obviously, because that's definitely my type of game. I haven't actually played any of them. I've been really tempted by Worms Rumble because it looks like my type of game. But I just haven't had a chance to play it. I haven't. There's such a variety there, isn't there? When you look at them, the different types of games. No game you could really link that easily with any other. There's maybe one or two links, but
I did want to mention something though, because it's not popping up here, but was recently added. The Medium. Was recently added onto Game Pass. It doesn't show up because it's been on Game Pass for a while, but not under cloud.
No.
Yeah, the Medium, and I know Cloudbusters in the chat said that they have really enjoyed that, and I think that is running well. With you, Maker, I am agreeing about Limbo. Limbo is absolutely brilliant. I think Playdead are interesting developers. I don't maybe agree with all their story choices. I'm looking at you, Inside, at the end of Inside.
I did want to mention something about that. You mentioned Playdead. I don't know if you knew this. Do you remember the trailer Somerville from the E3 conference? Where it's like a family and they're like running from this apocalyptic like event, and there's like missiles falling and
it's not ringing any bells at the moment, but I will look that up. Was that played?
It's not Playdead. What happened is one of the original creators in Playdead split off and created their own studio called it's a Jet. Is it Jetpack or? I'll pull it up real quick. But they're making that game, and that's going to be coming to Game Pass next year. Let me pull it up. Called Jump Ship is the studio.
I love the art style on Limbo. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
Then like.
Limbo's what's kicked off all that sort of art style, it's just an amazing looking game. And then Inside's like the step further than that.
So,
Maker, what did you think of the ending of Inside? I thought it was ridiculous. I loved it up until we're not going to give any spoilers, but I loved it up until the ending. And the ending, I think, really took the shine off the game. For me,
I think it's a very artistic piece, and I think they try to go for that for most of their titles. Inside as well. I think I need to replay the game, but I think Limbo is one of those games that you can recommend people play because it's a very good game. Well developed indie title, but back to the whole Somerville. I just looked it up. Dino Patti, which is the one that created Jump Ship, it was the co-founder of Playdead. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's I do like their games. Even though I despise the ending of Inside, I still absolutely love the game. But at least I know I'm not the only one who didn't like the ending.
It reminds me of Little Nightmares, where you're walking through and it's that cinematic experience where things happen while you're walking through the level, and you're
That's
trying to solve
exactly-
these
yeah.
puzzles.
The style I was thinking it was.
Yeah, and
Yep, that's Somerville.
yeah, I was just bringing this up quickly here. Yeah,
Just a refresher.
just to refresh my memory because I'm an old fogey, so I am. So yeah, I remember this now.
You'll probably notice some similarities between the Play Dead games and this one, especially when you start to see kind of gameplay. A lot of it feels like almost on rails, similar to them, since they're kind of 2D, 3D style, like inside at least.
And this is going to Game Pass, isn't it? Yep, it's going to Game Pass
Yeah,
and
yeah,
console, PC, and cloud. So we know this game is coming to cloud next year. Oh yeah, that is just
yeah, right there. That looks just like a Play Dead game.
yeah, it does indeed. What I actually like about Play it, you see Limbo, and then you see inside. You can see that Limbo was like there's. Yeah, it's going to sound really bad. Their first game, and then you can see the progression and inside. And as you said, this is the same developer, and you can see the progression once again. You can just see them getting better and better and better as they go. It's yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. But I think this is a good time to wrap this up here. But before I say that, we are going to be having a stream slightly later. I am not entirely sure. I think relatively soon. Would that be right?
Yeah, I'll try and get a stream up and running and maybe play some a new game that just came out today through xCloud.
Yeah, which are we going to say what it is? We will.
We'll hint at it.
We'll just hint at it slightly. So if you want, if you want to check that out, it will be going up shortly. So remember, hit the subscribe and ring the bell, and Maker will give his first thoughts on the game. Andy, is there anything you want to say here?
Go and watch the stream. And go and check out cloudy.games. That's an
New
easy
website.
URL, isn't it?
I think we're lucky getting that URL. I think
Must have cost a fortune, Duncan.
that was
Deep pockets.
£10.
Oh, nice.
Yes, so it wasn't that much money. So that's why I was meaning. It's very lucky we were able to get that one. But again, thank you all for joining. We will see you. Happy is the one who's usually in charge of this. This is going to be the new regular time, isn't it? As far.
Yeah, we're thinking about shifting it over to Tuesdays. One because Xbox news comes out on Tuesdays usually, and so that makes sense.
Yeah. So we're shifting it to Tuesday. So we're going to have it nice and regular. And our plan is also to get this on all the podcast services going. So thank you all for watching us. And we will see you next week with hopefully with a filler crew.
See you later.
Bye.
See ya.